In the past few years, arguments over which books should be allowed in school libraries has played out across the country. Books in both public and school libraries have come under attack by people who think certain things don't belong on the shelves. It is upsetting to all sides. Several librarians have quit because of the controversy. The American Library Association tracked nearly 1,600 books that were challenged in 2021. That's the highest number since they started tracking it 20 years ago. The Oregon Intellectual Freedom Clearinghouse says 54 books were challenged here in 2022. That's 3 times the number that were challenged the year before. Right now, the battle is focused in the West Linn-Wilsonville School District. A group of parents is trying to get a set of books tossed from the district libraries. Ashley Koch talked to them. We do want to warn you before this begins, the story does contain some explicit language from the books that might not be appropriate for younger viewers.
Meet Trisha Britton.
I'm a mom of 2 wonderful children who I homeschool for the very reason I'm standing here tonight.
And Kirsten Groner.
The act of being gay is a sin.
They're the moms leading the charge to ban 8 books from the West Linn-Wilsonville School District.
In November, we went and we exposed the 8 books by reading the content passages as well as sharing graphic photos within the books. This is porn and not education or even literacy.
It's just a lot of poetry about rape and getting high and shooting her dad and drugs.
She's talking about Crank by Ellen Hopkins. The 7 other books in question, The Sun and Her Flowers by Rupi Kaur, Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur, Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jesse Andrews, Beyond Magenta by Susan Cooklan, Heartstopper Volume 2 by Alice Oseman, Lawn Boy by Jonathan Evison, and Flamer by Mike Curado. They say they weren't aware of these books until recently, but started looking for objectionable books after seeing similar moves elsewhere in the country.
This is a national issue that parents have been concerned about across the nation, so there's definitely areas where you can find out about books that have been in question, and so I think we just started there.
But they've built up a small army to take on the school board, showing up to meetings and reading explicit passages from the books.
I touched Doug Goebel's and he touched mine.
Baby me. Like your mouth has a gift of reading, and I'm your favorite book. Find your favorite page in the between my legs.
That army is part of the Oregon Moms Union. The Oregon Moms Union has taken on school boards across the state to rally against COVID restrictions, vaccine mandates, new guidance on supporting transgender students, and now books. So let's take a closer look at the books they're challenging. 6 of them are by or about people of color or LGBTQ people. That follows national trends in books that are targeted, according to the American Library Association. But the West Linn-Wilsonville moms say it's not about identity.
Things that are X-rated and things that are R-rated don't belong in an entire district of children.
So you would say, like, you're okay with LGBTQ content in the library as long as it doesn't cross that sort of sexually explicit line?
I don't know that that's a question that we would need to answer.
Some parts of these books are pretty sexually explicit. We can't show them on the news. The moms say they want changes into how school library content is chosen.
We are asking for a committee to be formed with both parents and also parents and administration, as well as we've been asking for these books just to be removed.
Chelsea King is the chair of the West Linn-Wilsonville School Board.
On June 30th, when my term ends, it will have been 8 years on the school board.
She thinks the books should stay.
I am unequivocally against removing any books from our public school libraries.
She read some of the books.
The passages that were being read in the boardroom have 2 adolescent boys using slang terms for human anatomy and acts of sex. So they're using slang. And no sex ever occurs in the book.
And she thinks it's important that kids have access to them.
The book itself, at the heart of it, is a story of a cross-racial, cross-socioeconomic class friendship that really is born out of this young woman who's dying of leukemia, who at the end of the book dies of leukemia. Interestingly, an issue that we deal with in our own school district. In West Linn-Wilsonville, we've had adolescents die of leukemia. Here's a book for young people who are living through that.
If parents in the district want to block access to any books for their own kids, they can ask the school's librarian not to let their kids check them out. But that block doesn't go far enough for these moms.
Her friend got it and gave it. So while I don't want my daughter with this YA book, her friend gave it to her.
And not all the school board members are on the same page.
I left the November 14th meeting deeply troubled. I do not want to be any part of exposing students to sexually explicit, obscene, and age-inappropriate reading material.
But meanwhile, students in the district say the book should stay.
After multiple discussions with students at Wilsonville High School, I've come to the conclusion that these books should remain in our libraries. I understand and appreciate the concerns of parents. However, it is not reasonable for parents to choose what other students can and cannot read.
Yes, many of the books being challenged deal with difficult topics, some even including sexual assault. But censoring and ignoring them is not the answer.
Ashley Koch, KGW News.
Right now, the books are under review. The review committee consists of a parent, teacher librarians, other educators, and people from the community. But we've learned the superintendent of the West Linn-Wilsonville School District does plan to speak about that review at next week's school board meeting. While the books are under review, they are still on the bookshelves. Now, it's your turn to weigh in. How much is too much when it comes to books at the school library? Where should the line be drawn, or should there be a line at all? Send us your thoughts. The address is thesstory@kgw.com, or call and leave us a voicemail. The number is 503-226-5090.